that question. You know, we're on this side of the House are not going to apologise by getting a good deal for British businesses and people working for them. I'm determined to leave no stone unturned in ensuring that British businesses have the rights and the freedoms to export and trade around the world, helping to create good jobs here in Britain.
Sarah Olney.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. UK exports to China currently represent less than 10% of UK total exports, whereas our exports to the EU represent over 40%, representing, as it does, the greater opportunities available to our small and medium enterprises in trading with the EU. Will the Chancellor commit to spending 4 times as much time talking to our European partners about our trading opportunities as she has done to China?
Chancellor, I would just say to the honourable lady, it's not either or. We can't write off one country and say we're going to put all our eggs in a different basket. China is our 4th biggest trading partner, and we can't miss out on opportunities for a country that is growing quickly with an expanding middle class, where there are huge export opportunities. But as the honourable lady knows, I was in Brussels in December to reset our relations, the first British Chancellor to go to a Eurogroup meeting since we left the European Union. So I'm leaving no stone unturned to exploit export opportunities for British businesses.
Callum Anderson.
And I thank the Chancellor for her statement. Can she set out in more detail how the government intends to help reinvigorate the UK-China Stock Connect so that UK companies and investors can access Chinese capital markets and vice versa?
Chancellor.
Stock Connect is an initiative first set up by former Conservative Chancellor Philip Hammond to improve links between the Shanghai and the London stock exchanges to help Chinese businesses access capital on UK financial markets. That's good for financial services firms operating in London, and the enhancement of that Stock Connect scheme at the weekend offers new opportunities for British businesses in financial services in the UK.
Dr Luke Evans.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. As the Chancellor flew east, the pound plummeted south and government debt rocketed north. Why? Because the markets don't believe her plan for growth. This is the fundamental issue. So I'd like to pick up the question from my honourable friend from behind me, is what is she going to say to the markets to make them believe she really does understand how to deliver growth in the UK?
Chancellor. There's been global volatility in markets. I don't believe that it is reasonable to suggest that the reason why bond yields in the United States, in Germany and France have risen is because of decisions made by this government. I think the honourable member opposite should just get real.
Brian Leishman.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker, and thanks to the Chancellor for her statement. In regards raising money for public services, then an annual wealth tax on the multimillionaire and billionaire class would certainly achieve that. However, a conversation for another day. On to China. My right honourable friend and I have had previous discussions regarding the closure of the Grangemouth refinery, of which PetroChina, part of the Chinese state-owned China National Petroleum Corporation, is heavily involved in. If the refinery closes, then thousands of jobs will be lost. This is not just a constituency issue for me. It will impact all of Scotland, as our fuel and national security will be severely weakened. Did the Chancellor speak about the issue with her Chinese counterparts, and if not, will she do so?
Chancellor.
I thank my honourable friend for that question. We're working closely with the Scottish Government to ensure that there's a bright future for the people of Grangemouth, because deindustrialisation should not be the future for communities, including in Scotland.
Richard Tice.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Well, the data shows, Chancellor, in September and October that the economy is falling. It's going down. And the markets are expressing their clear concerns, the currency markets, the bond markets, in selling off, that actually there is no growth and that the economy continues to fall. If the Chancellor is so confident, can she confirm to the House when the economy will start growing again?
Chancellor.
I thank the honourable gentleman for that question. Growth is the #1 mission of this Labour government. But the truth is, it's not possible to turn things around quickly after 14 years of lacklustre growth and declining living standards from the party opposite. But we're leaving no stone unturned, which is why last week in China we secured £600 million worth of tangible benefits for the UK economy, helping great British businesses exporting overseas.
Nestle Calix-Scan.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. Does the Chancellor agree with me that developing our economic and trading relationships with other nations is one of many important levers? And alongside that approach, public investment, planning reforms, and the absence under the Conservative government of industrial strategy, which was problematic, will be returned under this government so that we can see economic growth.
Chancellor.
The best way to grow an economy is to boost investment in an economy. And the truth is, under the Conservatives, we were the only G7 economy where investment stood at less than 20% of GDP. That is the inheritance that this party was bequeathed by the party opposite. And we're beginning to turn that around by the creation of a national wealth fund to leverage in private sector investment, planning reform to get Britain building again, and pensions reform to unlock £80 billion of investment to help small and start-up businesses to grow. We're turning things around after 14 years of failure from the party opposite.
Paul Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. While the Chancellor was in China securing her measly £600 million, borrowing rates reached the highest that they have been since 2008. And in 2023, she said her budget would be a budget with real ambition to fix the foundations, a budget that would rebuild Britain. How's that going when her mess has caused the borrowing to be the highest it's been since 2008 and making real working people in this country suffer?
Well, I'm not sure if the honourable gentleman follows global financial markets, but borrowing costs for countries around the world have increased. But what we saw under Liz Truss's mini-budget was something unique to the United Kingdom, where it was just UK markets affected because of the decisions by the party opposite.
Chris MacDonald.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. It's great to see our Chancellor of the Exchequer working with international business and winning investment for the UK. Yeah. Does she agree with me that whilst the party opposite were happy to sell out our heavy industry to China, leading to the end of steelmaking in Teesside after 150 years, our industrial strategy is delivering investment in steel, in chemicals and life sciences, in Stockton North, in Teesside and across the UK?
Yeah. Chancellor.
The National Wealth Fund created by this government is to get investment into industries like carbon capture and storage, green hydrogen, ports, and indeed in steel. And we were really pleased at the end of last year to be able to announce investment in carbon capture and storage in Merseyside and Teesside, securing billions of pounds of investment into those economies and securing many thousands of jobs.
Luke Murphy.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I thank the Chancellor for her statement. I do think it's worth reminding the House that under the previous government, business investment fell to 28 out of 31 OECD countries, lower than Latvia, Slovenia and Hungary. Could the Chancellor set out how our industrial strategy is going to overcome this terrible legacy on business investment left by the party opposite?
Chancellor.
Well, one of the reasons for such poor investment and the lowest investment out of all the G7 economies is because our planning system makes it so hard to get anything done in this country. And that's why the planning and infrastructure bill that's being brought forward by my right honourable friend, the Deputy Prime Minister, will turn that around, making it easier to invest in transport, in digital, in housing and so much more. That is the way to get our economy growing after 14 years of failure.
Carla Lockhart.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and can I thank the Chancellor for her statement. China, New York, Washington, Toronto and Brussels to build economic relationships, yet won't take time to speak with the Ulster Farmers Union, the NFU, the Farmers Union of Wales, the NFU Scotland, to hear first-hand the devastating impact that her death tax is going to have on family farms and small businesses. When will the Chancellor realise, no matter what deals she does around the world, and I welcome them, road Rome is burning around her. Agriculture is the backbone of our economy, and therefore will she commit to meet with me on behalf of the thousands of farmers whose farms are going to be decimated by her death tax?
Chancellor.
I've had the opportunity on a couple of occasions now to meet the First Minister and the Deputy First Minister from Northern Ireland, and I'm sure that my right honourable friend, the Environment Secretary, would be happy to meet with colleagues from Northern Ireland. But the truth is, Madam Deputy Speaker, we inherited a £22 billion black hole in the public finances from the party opposite, and to ensure that we can stabilise our public finances